they say that history repeats itself? So I'm a historian, and I have a prediction for the next 3 to 4 months that I would like you to keep in mind. First, I need to tell you a story. On February 3rd, 1939, the number 2 Nazi in charge, Joseph Goebbels, who was basically the propaganda minister for Nazi Germany, was in the news because he banned 5 comedians from performing in Nazi Germany because he didn't like the jokes that they were telling. One of the people targeted was this guy, Werner Fink, who had been arrested and sent to a concentration camp previously for some of the jokes that he had been telling on stage. There is a really great quote in this article. Sample of offenses. With a sudden impulse during his act, he would raise his arm abruptly in what appeared to be a Nazi salute, only to adjust a picture on the wall. Upon his return from a concentration camp, he said, "You know, it is funny. After I was released, I walked around the camp and saw the walls, guards with their guns and the heavy gates. Everybody told me how hard it was to get in. But shucks, all I did was speak one sentence." Goebbels did not like that people were making fun of his very super serious regime and was quoted as saying that in no European country does such true joy reign supreme as in the Third Reich, and added that as for the desecrators of things that are holy to us, a turn at fortification work would do them good. Fortification work is basically saying that we're going to send you to jail to go like build walls and dig ditches. This is where I really need you to pay attention. One of the things that Goebbels did was he conflated academia and intellectualism with people who were anti-Nazi. Specifically, he called them society rabble and intellectual snobs for laughing at comedians who made Nazi leaders the butts of their jokes. So here's where my prediction comes in. Wasn't like a major news story, but this actually got a fair deal of attention and a lot of press. It's got a lot of pushback. And so a couple of days later, Goebbels decided that the best course of action was to throw a joke contest. Specifically, he started the contest because he was afraid that the action against the entertainers might give the impression that there is no humor in Germany. The contest ran for a month, and the guy who won $40. Wow. Here's the funny part. The contest became a meme. And people, especially in America, just roasted this fucking idea. And it became so much of a meme that even though this happened over like a month in 1939, people were still roasting it in 1944. Years later, they're like, remember the joke contest? So my prediction is, with all of the like media that is happening right now, especially around like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, I think there's going to be some kind of dumbass social media America's Got MAGA talent thing that happens. As a historian and an entertainer, I will say this. Things are really bad right now. There is a lot going on right now, and not a lot of it is great. Joy, laughter, comedy, entertainment can feel secondary. It can feel frivolous. But if you are watching what is going on with your historian pattern matching brain on, they're getting scared. And they're getting worried. Because here's the thing, they weren't worried about funny haha jokes. What they were worried about was the fact that people with platforms were using entertainment, comedy, wrapping valid criticism, valid concerns up in comedy to make it more palatable for other people. And that weakens, that can destroy, that can undermine. Comedy has always been subversive. Like Lenny Bruce got arrested 1,000,000 times for telling the jokes that he did, right? And at a time when there are active petitions to make trans people like a national threat, speaking out is really important. 5 comedians were told that they weren't allowed to work anymore. How many do you think went, oh my gosh, well then I shouldn't say anything. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to get put in jail. That is how they maintain the status quo. That is how they maintain control. Don't give it to them. Make jokes, make fun of them, roast their dumbass bad ideas. Because if your policies are sound, if what you are doing is like legal and just and right, a comedian making a couple of jokes about it is not going to undermine your authority. But if you are running on a platform of lies and false promises and false flags and division and making trans people the enemy, it's real easy to poke some holes in that. So go poke some holes.